had left our names off the project because we were hoping that people would think that Suzelle was a real person and that she really was doing DIY. So that was also a bit of a social experiment and like a social media experiment. And it did work because I think that added to the buzz around the character, that it was kind of like, is this woman real? Is Suzelle real? I mean, you know what? Some people still think Suzelle is real.
Okay.
Which I feel a bit bad about, but then maybe it means that I'm doing a good job.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Grey Ave, and you're listening to the Grey Ave Podcast. And today we have another fun episode. But first of all, for those of you who are just listening to the Grey Ave for the first time, you have been missing out on a lot. So we have done a lot of podcasts, and I'm sure there's a lot more for you to check out. So after this episode, I do recommend that you go around our feed and see what works for you. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, pretty much all the podcasting platforms. So please check us out. Today we have a special guest on the podcast. We have Julia Anastasopoulos. I was doubting myself whether I was going to pronounce her surname correctly, but I did. So maybe I'm having a great day already. So Julia is actually one of the largest YouTubers in South Africa. And let me give you guys the official Wikipedia summary about this. Julia Anastasopoulos, wow, I did it again, is a South African artist, illustrator, designer, and actress. Julia became a local internet phenomenon in May 2014 with her do-it-yourself web series known as SuzelleDIY. Before she became a YouTube personality, Julia created hand-drawn illustrations on the walls and windows of a few MyCiTi bus stations. If you're in South Africa, especially Cape Town, you pretty much understand what MyCiTi bus stations are, or MyCiTi bus is. For those of you who are not, MyCiTi is kind of like the smart bus service in Cape Town, which was started, I think, around the World Cup, the 2010 World Cup. This was one of the fun podcasts that I've recorded this year, with a creative, a content creator who is doing it differently and in a big way. Like I said, she's among the top YouTubers in South Africa. So we dived into a lot of stuff. We talked about how she evolved from being a generic actress to creating her own character and brand and owning it. The amount of work involved in that, the challenges that are faced in the creative industry, because before she started this, she was doing some other stuff, acting and performing and stuff like that. And we discussed monetization. So how do you actually make money from creating content on your own? How does she balance being a mother and being productive at the same time, since she recently became a mother? And we discussed other movie projects that she is doing with Showmax and a couple of other more things. So if you're a content creator or a creative specifically, I think this is going to be a fun podcast for you. There's a lot of gems to pick up from, and it was fun recording it. You'll be able to tell through the sound of my voice. It wasn't the typical business stuff, which I enjoy, but sometimes I get too much. Anyway, bros, you can follow her on SuzelleDIY. That's at SuzelleDIY, SuzelleDIY on Twitter and Instagram. You can also follow me at GreyBTC, GreyBTC on Twitter, as well as on Instagram. All right, man, enjoy the podcast. I'll see you on the other end. How do you introduce yourself again?
Okay, so my name is Julia Anastasopoulos. I'm an actress and a filmmaker, I guess. I guess I'm also a YouTuber in many ways.
Okay.
But technically I'm an actress. That's what I studied.
Okay.
Yeah.
When exactly did you start the YouTube? Because those days I don't think you were doing that.
No. We started in 2014. Yeah, so this is our 5th year of doing Suzelle. And obviously since then we've done other amazing projects. So it started in 2014, which is a total game changer for me, really. I was sort of like deciding whether or not I was going to continue my acting career, because it's such an erratic career choice, you know.
Being an actress?
Exactly.
2014?
Yeah.
And I mean, the way it sounds to me, it's like when you say we started in 2014, it's almost like you had prepared, like we're going to start a big YouTube channel and doing this thing.
Definitely not. That was definitely not what we were thinking at all.
Okay. So it wasn't just you?
No. It was my then my husband now, but in those days we weren't engaged yet, I don't think. My boyfriend at the time. And he's a filmmaker and director, and we were both feeling very frustrated with the commercial side of our jobs, and that we were always waiting for the green light and, you know, not feeling fulfilled by commercial work. And the Suzelle project was really just us playing around. It was a side project. We just were having fun with this character who we thought could... I mean, I didn't really have very much ambition for the character. I think Ari would say that he did. But it really was just us messing around. Literally, we had a camera. We had this character. We're like, what can she do? Oh, she can do DIY.
Yeah.
We were sort of wanting to parody that, the space of YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
Because you meet the funniest people on YouTube. So you're like, I don't know, you'll do a Photoshop tutorial or how to do something on YouTube, and then you meet these weird and wonderful characters. And we thought, wouldn't it be cool if someone was like looking for how to do something, like Googling how to XYZ, and find this weird, quirky South African character. And we were just playing with that and sort of exploring what that world looked like and the format and whatever. And we were releasing it online and putting it on YouTube, putting it on Facebook, I think. And I think for the first 10 episodes, we just sort of were wondering like where it would go.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny to me because when a lot of people are starting off with YouTube, they just start like, you know, and then it transitions to whatever it's going to be. And it's more like, especially when it comes to vlogging, it's supposed to be a little different with what you're doing. But it seems like you had a plan. Like, okay, we have a character. It seems more thought through than what people would expect from a YouTube channel.
Totally. I mean, I think we wanted to stick to the format, and it obviously has evolved over the years. But we never really had a great plan for it. It all happened very organically, actually. And I think, we didn't really plan it. And then once it picked up, then we thought, oh, okay, cool, this format works. And that's when I think we started taking it a bit more seriously. And we were able to commercialize it at that stage. But in the beginning, it really, we did put thought into it, but we didn't put thought in where we wanted it to go, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. How long did it take you to reach to a point where you're like, okay, you know, this is not working? Or how long did it take?
It was 10 episodes.
10 episodes.
It was 10 episodes.
Did you pre-recorded those? Or
they were all pre-recorded. No. I mean, I think we shot like one or two and we released them, and then we shot another one. But I think by the 10th one, we were almost like, oh, should we carry on? Should we? Shouldn't we? And I'm really glad we did, because it took that time to, you know, for the audience to tick over, and like that little bit of seeding, and the audience grew in very small increments, but it did grow. And then by that 10th episode, someone saw it. It was a blog. I wish I could remember the name of the blog that posted it. And it basically went viral for South African standards, which was amazing for us, you know.
And that was like a South African audience, mostly?
Yeah, it was a South African audience. Predominantly South African audience. It's a very South African character, obviously. And people... What we had done, though, just to backtrack a bit, we had left our names off the project because we were hoping that people would think that Suzelle was a real person and that she really was doing DIY. So that was also a bit of a social experiment and like a social media experiment. And it did work, because I think that added to the buzz around the character, that it was kind of like, is this woman real? Is Suzelle real? I mean, you know what? Some people still think Suzelle is real.
Okay.
Which I feel a bit bad about, but then maybe it means that I'm doing a good job.
And do you have to act her out when you meet people sometimes? because they're expecting you to do it?
Yeah, no, not really. I won't, unless I'm like dressed up as Suzelle and I'm in character, then I will be full. Okay. I'm very committed to the character.
I don't really see that much of a difference though.
Really?
Not much.
No, she's so different.
Except for the accent.
Yes, the accent is different. But she also wears a lot of like crazy colors.
Oh, no, when it obviously the style is different. Yeah. But the personality is a little similar.
Oh, that's interesting. I think maybe her personality has brought me out of my shell a bit, maybe.
Right. Yeah. What was your shell?
I think that I'm quite reserved and more of an introvert.
I think the days that I knew you back in the day, you were quite more reserved, I would say.
Yes, I think so too. I think I maybe am still, but maybe Suzelle's maybe a bit more confident. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so acting-wise, how did that YouTube channel affected or improved your acting career?
It definitely shifted it in many ways because I wasn't acting at all. I was kind of like, I had another career on the side. I was illustrating and designing, and I was kind of done with acting. But then all of a sudden, all I was doing was acting.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of ways it put me on the map. So people were like, oh, okay, cool. You know what? It's tricky because she's such a strong and bold character that I think in a lot of ways I was pigeonholed into that sort of genre.
All right.
That was all I could do. Like Suzelle was like my character and that's what I did and that was it. So I don't think that it helped me get any more roles, but it definitely helped my acting. When you're shooting all the time and you're scripting all the time and, you know, I'm in performance mode all the time, that really helps sharpen your acting tool, you know, which is important. And I think a lot of actors don't have the opportunity to do that because they're not working all the time. So for me, it was a really amazing way to keep my craft alive, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you also did graphic design and
yes, exactly.
You're very artistic, eh?
Very artistic, yeah.
How did that happen?
So it was when I left school. It was always a toss up between doing fine art and theatre and like drama, but
why not finance?
Oh no, not finance. Oh, why not finance?
Yeah.
It was just never my thing. But now, you know what? Now I wish that I had that.
Really?
But, yeah, because I mean. Not that I wish that I was doing finance, but I wish that I had that skill.
Okay, we'll come to that later.
Okay, cool. Fine. Anyway, I'm not in finance. I'm very creative. I shoot videos. I draw. I illustrate, you know. So yeah, it was kind of...
So you said after school, what happened?
So basically I was either going to do art or I was going to do drama. I chose drama on a whim, I guess. But I loved it. I loved the experience. It was very challenging and it really pushed me and shaped me and I met amazing people. It's such an amazing degree to get even if you aren't interested in that.
Oh, is it?
Absolutely.
In what?
I think that you learn a lot about yourself. I think you're forced to go beyond what you think your boundaries are. It gives you amazing confidence and I guess you're thinking on a whole new level, which is very interesting, and I really enjoyed it.
I suppose because you have to act, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you went to UCT?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Very, very Cape Townian of you.
Very Cape Townian of me, except I grew up in Joburg, so for me it was kind of like you finish school in Joburg and then you flee the nest and go
to Cape Town or somewhere else.
Exactly, go to Cape Town. My sister had done that, so I felt sort of safe in my choice to.
So you've been here for how long?
Since 2001.
Oh wow, that's 18 years.
That's 18 years.
I know the math doesn't make sense.
That's so crazy. I feel so old sometimes when I think back, but anyway, that's awesome.
Okay, so how did this? I mean, we're gonna get into how can one, for example, start their own YouTube channel. Okay. But then how did it ended up becoming a huge operation where I'm at your studio right now where you shoot the whole thing.
Sure.
I can see the DIY stuff lying around here.
So basically, we started very small. grew very organically. In the beginning, we were just shooting in my apartment. We didn't have any lights. We didn't have any gear. We just had a camera. Did we have a tripod? I think we did. Well, my husband's a film director, so we had like some gear, but nothing really. And then once we got a lot of brands involved, once Suzelle sort of went viral, and at that stage we were able to expand a little bit, and we moved into a new space, not this space, but a bit of a bigger space, and we got a producer in to help us because we were really struggling with managing all the admin side of things and shoots, and we just needed a bit more help. And then it's really grown over the years. It's quite amazing. Then we moved into this bigger space in Woodstock, and we basically got someone helping us with social media. We have an art director who is freelance, but she helps us with shoots. We have Ari, the director. We've got a producer. We have Josh, who edits for us. So we're a real team now. But it has grown very slowly and very organically. And it is quite a thing to run. We've since launched Sketchbook Studios, which is our production company. So we produce Suzelle, but then we produce other content as well.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't just built for Suzelle.
No, not at all. So it existed before Suzelle, the name Sketchbook Studios, which was my husband's company. But then we decided that we should become a company that would help us produce Suzelle. And then since then, we've taken on other commercial work, and we've made a TV show. We produce other content. We do all sorts of things, actually.
So did Suzelle ever help you to get more business?
Absolutely.
To the studio?
Oh yeah, definitely. We leverage off Suzelle all the time because I think Suzelle, it happened at a really good time in like the world of South African YouTube.
Okay.
I mean, no one had really seen that before. It was kind of like a parody character that was comedy, but also DIY. And I think that people were really excited about it when it happened. And I think that's what got a lot of brand involvement. And from there, people were like, oh, okay, cool. Well, what else can you do? So for example, we just done a TV show with Showmax, and we shot a pilot, and basically we just said, like, this is Suzelle's new project, look at what Suzelle's doing now. And it really has opened a lot of doors for us. I think also people are interested to see what else Suzelle could do, So it's been an absolutely incredible learning opportunity as well.
This is what most people don't understand when it comes to content creation. Yeah. A lot of people like to ask about the monetization, or how do you monetize?
Exactly.
They don't realize the leverage. Like, to me, I don't really have to make money from my podcast at all. I don't want to.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, fine.
I just like to leverage from anything else outside of that. It's already more than enough. Yeah. So speaking of to your earlier point, you said you wish you had learned at least finance to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because I think we're in a position now where we're running a company, and there's so much that goes into that, and you can really get quite snowed under. I mean, obviously you get accountants and you get people on board and you can figure these things out. But I think that if you have those skills, it is just an added bonus. Because I mean, we don't do business science. We don't know anything about business. But then all of a sudden you've got employees and you like paying PAYE and
I see what you mean.
There's a lot that goes into it that can be quite intimidating. But I mean, we survive.
But do you think it's important for artists to actually, to some extent, learn just enough?
Yes.
Because I think
yes.
that's a very big problem right now, especially if you look at social media, for example, right? You get people with so many followers that they can leverage their social media, but they can't, just simply because they don't really understand how they could move it.
Totally.
And also, if it happens, they don't know how to strike a deal or how to do the finances and
contract. There's so much that goes into it. And as a matter of fact, just before we launched Suzelle, my husband and I happened to do this this business course. It was called Business Acumen for Artists, which is an incredible course. I don't know if they still run it. It's UCT Business School, and it was, I can't remember how long it was, but basically
maybe Suzelle could just run it.
maybe Suzelle should run it. That'd be brilliant. But basically what it was a bunch of artists, people in all different fields, illustrators, painters, jewelry designers, learning about business and learning about how to grow a business. And it was project-based, so by the end of the course you had to have launched a project. It was brilliant. And that really gave us a lot of confidence in terms of starting a company. Mm-hmm. And I still think back on that time and draw from those resources.
Right. And what was your very first, at least when you started it, were you thinking of, okay, we're going to monetize this with YouTube money or?
Yeah. Look, to be honest, I didn't know anything about that world. My husband did a bit.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, we really didn't know much about YouTube, how to make money off YouTube. Ari did to some extent, I think. But we have learned so much more over the years, and monetizing your channel and optimizing your space and all of that stuff. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and we don't even know all of it. You know what I mean? I think you can really dive deep into that.
And it's always changing all the time.
It is always changing. The algorithms are always changing. It's hard to actually stay on top of it.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, we've got the basics now, and we kind of know what works and what doesn't work.
So my guess would be that you make more revenue from brand affiliations and stuff. What was your first paycheck from Suzelle that you're like, this is the thing now?
So it was Takealot.
Okay.
It was a big viral campaign for them, and they contacted us and said, "We love Suzelle. We want to do a series of episodes. You can just do your thing." Basically, It wasn't like we had to put product placement in. It was amazing. It was such a great.
So what was in it for them was that you can buy those products at Takealot?
Exactly.
Right.
There were certain click-throughs. It was kind of like at the end of the episode, it was sort of proudly sponsored by Takealot, and there was a click-through to their site, and Suzelle had some sort of stuff on the Takealot page. It was at Christmas time, but it was an integrated campaign. And what was so cool about that is that we were working with an agency who basically gave us creative freedom. And with that, we started making our own rules for working with brands. We're like, okay, well, this isn't a commercial. We're not going to have the client at the Suzelle shoot telling us that Suzelle must wear a branded t-shirt.
Yes.
You know, like we passed that now, you know. So we sort of made these sort of mental notes for ourselves and ways that we wanted to work with brands so that we could stay authentic and that the characters stayed authentic. And it's worked. I mean, so that was the first one. And we've done quite a lot of branded stuff. And the cool thing about Suzelle is that she will work well with a lot of brands. Okay. But there are some brands where we had to be like, oh, actually, no, this doesn't work for the character.
Okay, look,
and that's one of our rules.
You don't have to say the brand, but what category?
Like, I don't know, she's a very conservative Afrikaans woman. She's not going to sell alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Or like deodorant, you know, she'd be a bit shy for that.
Sure.
You know,
she's just like,
I mean, she might, I don't know, but we do.
Does she even wear deodorant?
Yes, she definitely does, but she probably makes it herself with like all her own, all little organic ingredients.
Absolutely.
But you know what I mean? We have to really think about the character. We have to remain true to the character. Even after all these years, we have these rules in place, and it just helps us maintain, you know, the world. It has to feel true to the world.
And then you worked with Takealot and a couple of other brands.
Yeah, we've worked. I
suppose all like in the M ranges.
Oh, in the M's. Oh no, please! I wish. Oh my gosh, I wish. We talk about that. We were speaking about this last night. Actually, is that people also have a very warped perception of how much money you can make with YouTube.
That's why I brought this up.
Because, I mean, especially we're running a production company. You know, we've got our overheads are high. We really aren't making bucket loads of money. People think that we just made of money, and we're just struggling to stay afloat. But basically, from YouTube, the ad sales off YouTube, it's minimal unless you are having like tens of millions of views. You really aren't making any money from YouTube. So basically, how it works is that you YouTube sells ads that will either be a pre-roll on your YouTube video, and then you share that revenue with YouTube, and depending on how many views you get you get money. And I think it's about every 3 months that we see a bit of money, but it's a tiny bit of money.
Of course.
It's really nothing to write home about. But we do have different streams of revenue that we can draw upon, and that's so it's obviously the YouTube ad sales, which is a little bit. We do the branded episodes, which is probably the bulk of money that Suzelle makes. Because there's a lot that goes into that. That's a production, and there's research and scripting, and there's a lot of back and forth with that campaign. We work very closely with the agencies and figure out how they want Suzelle to work with their brand, etc., etc. So there's that. Then I also do like live Suzelle performances, sort of corporate events,
like MC.
Exactly.
Right.
So Suzelle will go to I don't know, what am I? I'm doing one tomorrow. I'm doing an activation. We're doing a campaign with You Cook, which is when they deliver the food and you cook it at home. So we're doing a campaign with them. So tomorrow I'm doing a media activation, and we're cooking stuff, and Suzelle's there and hosting the event, that kind of thing. And that's actually also a good stream of revenue for the character.
Affiliates is not a big thing here.
What's affiliates?
Affiliate links, or like if you buy.
Oh, right. Yeah, we don't do that.
Okay.
We don't do that.
I think the challenge in South Africa is just that most people don't really buy things online yet.
That's true.
Because if they were like in America, you would be killing it right now.
Totally. Yeah, that's definitely, it isn't big here yet, I don't think. And we haven't even touched on that.
Yeah. So if 2013, 2014, that's when I came across your stuff. So when you were doing acting, those days you were much more into commercials, doing commercials as an actress and stuff.
Exactly.
Car commercials, I think there was some I could remember. So coming from now a different side of the table, where you are the product now, you own your own brand, you can negotiate what happens and whatnot, and the finances, from being, say, a tool on a project when you're an actress or a model. What's the contrast, and how do you differentiate the two now?
I think for me, I feel very lucky to be able to make my own things, and that I do have creative freedom. I think I feel so liberated in many ways, you know. I don't have to wait for someone to say, oh, okay, cool, yes, that looks all right, that's fine, it's, fix it. It's like, let's do this the way we want to do it. And for me, that's been the most amazing thing. And that that can be my career.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sitting at a casting like
waiting for the director,
wanting to kill myself, like waiting for the director to be like, I'm sorry.
And it's usually some other person's opinion. It's not really about the acting.
Totally. And it blows my mind. Yeah. The commercial world can be so terrible. Look, I've had a lot of fun in the commercial world, and we've shot some amazing ads, and even with Suzelle, we've shot some amazing ads, but the process is just, it blows my mind. The amount of money that people spend on commercials. I mean, I don't even know who watches commercials anymore.
Yeah, that's for real.
Right? Anyway, so it is an amazing space to be in. And actually, the coolest thing is that I get to choose now. It's like, well, actually, I don't want to do that project. It's like, that doesn't sit right with me, or I don't feel like I have the capacity for that, which is a really great position to be in.
Or the contracts that restricts you from saying, if you work with us in the next 5 months, you won't be able to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
That's horrible. Yeah. So how do you balance all this now, being a mom too at the same time?
Oh my gosh, this is such a struggle. Oh, so my baby is 10 months old, and that's still very small. I mean, she can't walk yet. I'm still carrying this baby around physically and emotionally. But it's tough. It really is tough, because being a mom, time-wise, obviously, you split between two completely different worlds. I feel like I'm a completely different person in many ways. It's like I can't really get back to that old life I used to have, or that old me. So even trying to get there again is a weird struggle.
What is the old you?
I don't know. I guess I can't really describe it. It's an emotion. It's more of an emotional thing than anything, you know.
Is it a place? It feels like a place.
Maybe. Like, I don't know. It's just everything is. My perspective has shifted in many ways.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Wow.
It's my perspective has shifted in a huge way, and that same thing about having to choose now. It's kind of like my priority is my child.
Right.
Especially now when she's so small. So there has been a big shift, and it's fine. It's fine because I know that I will always be able to get back into acting and Suzelle. You know, luckily for us, we've created Suzelle. She exists. She's in the world. She's a brand. Like, she's not going anywhere.
And
luckily.
The good thing about like content is that, look, you can be doing your thing, but people are still watching right now.
Exactly.
So it always leaves.
Yes, and you can keep reinventing it, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you should be doing in any case. So it is. I'm evolving. I'm just sort of evolving into the new me and like how I exist in this new space that is work and motherhood. It's tough, but I think it will get easier.
Are you a cool mom?
I'm the coolest. No. Oh my God. I'm quite an anxious mom, I must say.
Okay.
Just because it's the first time I've had a child, and you know, you feel guilty about like not being at home, and
right.
But it's hard. It's very hard. It takes a lot of mental strength and physical strength and emotional strength to be able to balance it all.
And you sleep less, I suppose?
Oh my gosh, the sleep is really hard. It's definitely improved, but it's tough. You know, it's tough. You don't realize how hard. It's accumulative. So like, I don't know, after like a week of not sleeping well, you're like, what is wrong with me? And you're like, okay, yeah, remember, I'm absolutely exhausted. And you can never catch up. You don't catch a break. There's no reprieve. That's what's hard about parenting.
You don't get to a point where you're like, okay, now it's over.
It's not like, oh, okay, tonight I'm going to work really hard, but tomorrow I can just sleep all day.
No.
Oh no.
Okay.
It's like, tomorrow you'll be up at 6.
Do you recommend the other girls there who want to have kids, like, hey, go ahead and do it and have fun?
You know what? I do. Of course I do. Like, the reward is incredible.
Okay.
But I would say, like, really, if you can and you can afford to, I would wait.
Okay.
You know, it's a toss-up. I don't know, because I feel like I'm old now. So
what's the best time to have a baby? There's really none almost.
You know what? I was thinking about this the other day, and I feel very lucky that I had achieved so much, and then I was able to have a baby. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I think that if I had a baby, and I worry that I would keep feeling like, oh, I still got to like do so much and like make it and whatever. For me, I was like, okay, wow, I've really been incredibly successful. We've made all these amazing things. Wow, I feel really good about the things that I've done, and now I'm going to actually take a bit of time off and have a baby.
So that means you wouldn't see the baby as a hindrance to your whatever you want to do. Exactly.
And I mean, not to say that people shouldn't just go for it, because it is possible. It really is, and it's awesome. I'm talking a lot like I'm telling this as if it's the worst thing in the world, and it's not. It really is awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so during the 9 months of pregnancy, did you do any videos at the time?
Yes, we did so much.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you see would be the future of this?
Of Suzelle? You know, at the moment we actually are scripting the Suzelle movie, which has been a dream of ours to make. So a proper feature film, which basically is like the origin story of Suzelle, kind of like a superhero movie, but not really. So it's like the story of a small town girl living in Somerset West, trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. It's a precursor to her YouTube fame. So that's been on the cards for a really long time, and we're in the scripting process now. And this is off Sketchbook? Yes, yes. Production company. Exactly. So it's my husband and I, we are writing it with another writer who we work with often. We worked with on our TV show, Daniel Zimler, who's an absolutely incredibly talented TV writer and screenplay writer. And we're hoping to shoot it in sort of mid to end of this year. Right. If we can get everything in place. Yeah. But making a movie is also incredibly challenging.
I can imagine, yeah. And with the what's your favorite video that Suzelle ever did?
That is a really hard one.
Mine is the ironing one with the
really?
With the aluminum, because I tried it once.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did.
Amazing. That's awesome.
It was harder. I think it depends on what fabric you're ironing.
Yes,
because mine was quite hard.
Sure. You know what? Okay, if we're gonna go on like the ones that I use all the time, it's the battery one. Did you ever see the one where she tests batteries to see if they're like dead or not?
No.
So basically, you take a battery and you drop it on a surface, and if it bounces, you can throw it away.
For sure.
If it lands, it's like a dull thud. It's good.
Right.
And I use that
all the time.
And also how to chop an onion. I still say it in Suzelle's voice every time I chop an onion.
So do you have to look for things like, okay, what am I going to make now?
Yes.
Or you've always been the DIY person, whereas...
I'm very DIY.
Okay.
And in the beginning, it was all my stuff. Like, I was like, oh, we must do this, and this is my trick for getting the fluff off the jersey or whatever. Like, but now, obviously, we've got a little team, and either we'll be like, okay, is there anything that's trending at the moment? Like, what are people making in the DIY world?
Yeah.
So we'll often draw on that. Otherwise, if we're working with a brand, or... that'll also obviously inform what we're going to make, or maybe it's like a holiday, like it's Christmas or it's Mother's Day, and then we that will determine the kind of thing that we want to do or make. But often it's the really simple videos that do well. I'm
sure you have sharpened your brain a lot just by doing all these things. Now you know a lot about pretty much how to do everything.
I do. We know everything. There's some things that I forget though, but I guess that we have learned a lot.
You know what video you should do?
What video?
How to send a Bitcoin.
You see, I would not know how to do that.
That would be a DIY video.
Yeah, I bet you people would probably watch it.
They would. Yeah, how to make your own Bitcoin wallet and receive Bitcoins.
I think that we should do that, because I genuinely want to know how to do that.
You should, and you put a Luno link, which is the app that we use to buy it.
Okay.
And when people watch it, you get $25 per sign up.
Really?
And it's a lot of people. I've made thousands with it, so I'm just saying.
Really?
Yeah, that would be so cool. Yeah, I can help you.
You have to just give me the name of that thing, and I'll
100%.
Okay, this is brilliant. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
and it would actually be really comedic.
It would.
Suzelle does
Bitcoin.
DIY Bitcoin.
I need to stop selling Bitcoin to everyone.
No, keep selling.
Okay.
We always wanted to do another character, which was quite scary for me because Suzelle is so loved.
Yeah.
I was worried that people were gonna. There was a lot of pressure on me basically to succeed. You know.
Yeah.
You when you have a project that's successful, people are always waiting to see how successful your next project is going to be.
Yes.
Luckily, it was successful. And I always wanted to do a new character, and this character just came quite naturally to me, and she's kind of a very spoilt, not that I'm very spoilt at all. I'm nothing like that other character, but it was a mockumentary style, which was a new style for us. It followed this very spoilt Joburg princess on her journey to getting married.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool project, and we obviously leveraged off Suzelle. We were like, this is Suzelle's new project, and do you want to get involved, and blah blah blah. And Showmax came on board, and they also gave us a lot of creative freedom, and we were able to make a TV show, which is also hugely different to making a YouTube series. Obviously, there's a lot more production involved, but it was hard, but very rewarding, and we learned a lot from that.
And that's already on Showmax. Right?
It's on Showmax. For
those who want to watch it, what's the title?
It's called Tully's Wedding Diary. It's a mockumentary.
What is a mockumentary?
So a mockumentary is like, it has the format of a documentary, but it's a parody, so it's comedy. So.
Give me an example of a popular one.
Okay, the mockumentary style is actually very popular at the moment. So, in American, The Office.
The Office.
Which is British and American.
Right.
There's The Office. what's that one? Modern Family. That's also mockumentary style.
Ah, okay.
You know when they like follow the family and then they have like an interview, like talking head scenario.
Yes.
So basically, it feels like a documentary, but it's set. It's a setup.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
Yeah. And
that's hard.
It is hard, and it's quite an interesting style to shoot in because you're kind of blurring the line between reality but you're still acting. It was very hard, but very fun, and like a new way of approaching comedy, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, you like comedy, eh?
Love it.
Yeah.
I think that might be my niche.
Right. Maybe that's going to be the next thing. You never know.
But a stand-up.
Oh, have you done stand-up at all?
No, I haven't. And I think I'd be terrified. I'm terrified of stand-up. I don't think I'll even get to do stand-up. No.
What do you think most people know you of, like people close to you?
I think that I am quite a comedian.
Okay. So do they know you, people would say that you're funny?
They're definitely, I've always been a bit of a clown, I think.
Okay.
But funnily enough, it took me my whole career, well, up until 2014, to realize that was actually what I was good at. I was agonizing over all these other things, and then suddenly with Suzelle, this just sort of clicked into place. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do comedy.
But what do you think it was before 2014 that you thought you were good at, or what you were aspiring to?
You know, I really don't know. I think I was trying to be like I had this notion of what a real actress is.
Is it the Hollywood thing?
Not so much Hollywood. It was more like, you know, I need to like do classics, and I need to know how to do Shakespeare. And I know how to like really like go deep, and that's not to say I don't enjoy that, because I do. I really do.
But you sound like the every other actress out there.
Exactly. I really had this thing in my mind that it had to be so serious, and you know. And I think as soon as I let it go, that's when I became successful. Which is amazing to me. And actually, I think that's a cool message, that you maybe don't have to take yourself so seriously all the time, and that you need to find the lightness and ease of things in order to make them work. I don't know if that's a bit philosophical, but that's what happened. That's what happened for me. You know, like. I was agonizing until I was like, okay, you know what? I'm letting this go, and I'm just going to do what feels right for me, and that is when. Yeah.
So from the content point of view, I don't know how to do what you do, or you did, of like really planning the whole thing up and like really doing it. My brain doesn't work like that.
Okay.
But for someone who wants to start their own YouTube channel right now,
cool.
How would you, if you had to do this again, how would you do it now?
So
from scratch, one by one.
I think the best way to start a YouTube channel is to just start. Okay, because that's the way you need to do it, because you have to approach it in a way that it's like you have to just consistently keep trying and keep going and keep making your content. And with that, with each episode you release, you will be a little bit better. You'll get better and better with everything you release, and your audience will grow a tiny bit more. Yeah. So you just, I think just start and I mean, obviously have an idea and try and stick to a format, and just by releasing regularly and like by keeping at it, that is how you grow an audience, and that's how you get better at what you're doing. Like by your 10th episode, you'll see such an improvement in what you're making. And use it as a way to practice and experiment. I think that's a brilliant idea. Also to use other social platforms. So for example, Instagram, we use Instagram a lot. I did, especially for the TV show. I was just shooting little content pieces, little 15-second to 30-second videos of this character, just for myself to get better at the character, to like just dive deeper into her world. It was an exercise for myself, but in so doing, the audience for that Instagram channel grew like it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. And now there's an amazing Instagram following on top of everything else. So I think it is good to spread yourself across the different platforms if you are able.
What's more impressive to me is that you have managed to create a personal brand, that's still detached from you.
Yes.
So it's like they're two different,
Totally.
totally two different people.
Totally.
Because, having to be you, the person that people perceive you are, it can be a little hard. It's just like being famous is hard, right?
It is.
I suppose.
It really is. And you're right. It is interesting to have the different personas because it also means that I can keep to myself a little bit more.
Yes.
And that's great.
So you can be both. Like, hey, every day you can be Anna, and whenever you have to act, it's time for acting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Have you watched the Avengers lastly?
I haven't, but my husband did.
Why not? Why you didn't?
Well, because I had to stay home with a baby.
Okay.
No, but you know what? To be honest, I am not the biggest Avengers fan.
You're the classics type, I suppose.
Yes. So, but Ari has been talking about it for weeks, and
okay.
Obviously, I was just going to say go. He went with his two friends who are also huge Avengers fans, and he wasn't disappointed. And
he wasn't disappointed?
No,
okay.
He wasn't disappointed. He loved it. Were you disappointed?
Not really disappointed, but it's just like it's the end, but it's still the way it ended. It's still chaotic for me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't know how to.
Is it the end? Is that the end of the franchise?
Pretty much, and I don't know how to feel about how it ended.
Oh, damn. Okay.
It's that kind of thing. But I think I don't know if you have realized this. There's a trend right now in filmmaking, where it's breaking the trend of the last way of making movies. Whereas at the end, it's a happy days.
You're right.
I never watched Game of Thrones, but I heard they kill pretty much everyone.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think that is becoming more popular now, that you be disappointed at the end of the movie.
I know, you're actually right. Or maybe it's so that they can make a sequel.
Probably. Or I think
they leave you hanging, and then they're like, okay, well, here's the next one.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. At the same time, I think it's just like trying to do something different. Because the movies are always like, okay, you struggle at the beginning and then you win the last fight, right?
I mean, I think if you think about it, people are watching TV now. People are watching TV shows way more than they're watching films. TV shows and content.
YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe the movies are trying to I don't know.
Catch up to that.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
That's actually a good point. I don't know. You guys figure it out.
I don't know.
You're into the business.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Okay, cool. Thanks for your time. I don't want to.
Thank you. It was really cool. It was really cool to chat.
Awesome. Hello once again, and that was the end of our conversation. And just before you go, just want to communicate a few things with you quickly. If you have enjoyed any of the podcasts or this specific podcast episode, I would appreciate it if you share it with your friends and family through your social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc., as well as write me a 5-star review on iTunes or Apple Podcast app. That would be fantastic. It helps me flourish and sustain this podcast as well. We also on other platforms like SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and all other major podcast platforms. So whichever way you're listening to it, I would appreciate it if you leave me a review. You can also subscribe to the Grey Ave Podcast through my website, greyjabesi.com, GREYJABESI.com. There you also find some of the blogs that I'm writing sometimes, and you get notified as soon as the new episode has been published. Until next time, enjoy and be productive.